Welcome to Pod Appétit Gourmet Takes, the podcast with hot takes on food media.
We interview popular chefs and food personalities, sample all kinds of food media, and try cooking challenges in our own kitchens.
Let's dig in. Hey, it's Justine.
And it's me, Meg.
Welcome back to another episode of Pod Appétit, where we cook themed recipes every month and chat about the latest food media we've been consuming. Now, I think in our last recording, we said we would be doing an interview for this time, but unfortunately that had to be postponed to a later date. So we are doing a June kickoff instead.
Surprise, it's June already.
Surprise! Oh my gosh. And I'll get into this later. Like, literally, where did May go? I mean, like, I was traveling. You traveled in the beginning of the month, like...
I did.
May. Hello, goodbye. It's June.
Aloha to May.
Are we ready for June's themes?
Yes, let's kick it off.
June 2nd, one of our favorite holidays, National Donut Day.
Excellent.
We already celebrated that every year. June 15th, National Lobster Day. June 18th, International Picnic Day. June 19th, National Martini Day. And it's also National Fresh Fruits and Vegetables Month.
Much in the same way that every day is grilled cheese day in my home, every day is also Martini Day.
That's why I picked it for you. I was like, I just like lowball it. Like, here's an easy one.
Woohoo!
Have a martini on us.
Making it anyway.
Same goes with everybody else. Have a martini this month if you can or want to. Whatever. Do it.
Channel
Celebrate.
your inner Lucille Bluth. Have at it.
Yes. Now, let's see. Meg, you're going to kick us off here.
Yeah, I'm going with the theme of National Fresh Fruits and Vegetables Month, crossed with our sort of every month theme of choosing seasonal produce.
Yes.
I decided to make For the Love of Cottage Cheese Salad. If you're a very long-time listener, there might be a little part of your brain that's tickling that's like, wait, hasn't Meg talked about this already? And the answer is yes, but it was like 4 years ago.
Are we that old?
We are that old. Our podcast is
gosh.
indeed that old, surprisingly. This is a Bon Appetit recipe by Amiel Stanek, and I did make it again. I'm not just reminiscing about 4 years ago. A couple of seasonal produce that I used were radishes and some cherry tomatoes. These are both in season right now. Additional fresh fruits, or not fruits, there's not fruit in here, but other fresh vegetables that I included are green onions and Persian cucumbers.
Ooh.
It's a very fresh... Ooh. They're about yay big.
I know. I was thinking it. First of all, okay, for everybody who is just like, what the heck are they giggling about? If you go back to our old episodes, because like flashback, we're so old, all of the episode titles would be, jokey things that we say. So as soon as you say Amiel Stanek, I think Amiel is a snack.
Amiel is a snack, yes.
And then the Persian cucumbers with their yay big.
They're yay big. Yeah, check out the back catalog. It's always fun. This is a very simple recipe. You make the cottage cheese base, which is cottage cheese. You grate the fresh radishes into the cottage cheese, and you add some salt and pepper. And that's basically the base of the recipe. And then on top of that, you add the tomato salad. You cut up the tomatoes, you slice the cucumbers nice and thin, you slice up the scallions, you mix it all together with some white vinegar and some olive oil, and as Molly Baz would say, salt and pep, of course. You let that marinate for about half an hour. You also let the cottage cheese and the radishes sit for about half an hour, all in the fridge, because it's a nice, cool, crisp, refreshing salad. You spoon the cottage cheese on your plate, and then you spoon the tomato mixture over that. You can add a little extra oil if you want to at that point. I really like this recipe. Like I mentioned, I've made it a few times. It's very refreshing.
Yeah.
Especially since you have all the fresh vegetables, the nice cucumber, very crispy, which is a nice contrast to the sort of mushy cottage cheese. And then the vinegar adds this nice bright acidic flavor to it. It's also very colorful. It's just a nice,
Yes.
fun, fresh, seasonal recipe.
It's a rainbow. I love when foods are a rainbow on your plate. It's so pretty.
Instead of regular all red cherry tomatoes, I like to find the heirloom multicolored tomatoes if I can. It looks a lot prettier.
It's so pretty. There's purples and reds and yellows and then the green of everything else. And I love it. It's so gorgeous. I'm not a big cream, what is it? Not cream cheese.
Cottage cheese.
Cottage cheese. I don't actually know if I've ever had cottage cheese because it's
Mm.
kind of ones that are like to look at.
Yes, I will say that cottage cheese is a food that I've kind of come around to more recently. There's something about the texture that I never really liked before. It's very thick. I also am not the biggest fan of yogurt just because of that kind of cloying texture where you're like trying to swallow it and it's just like, oh, I can still taste it. But I like cottage cheese more now, the older I get. Maybe it's just like, I think when you get into your 50s and 60s, you just automatically love cottage cheese.
You're not in your 50s
No,
and 60s.
I'm not. I just think I'm on my way there, you know. I'll love it more and more as the years go on. I also am convinced that cottage cheese is going to have a renaissance sometime soon.
You've mentioned.
Yes. I'm still banking on that.
I believe it. I mean, you keep saying it. I keep believing it because I've got no other sources telling me otherwise.
I'll make it happen. That's what I'll do.
Yeah. It looks so fresh, so crisp, and like you said, refreshing. We're going to get into this later, but yes, we are in basically summertime with our cool, refreshing foods that we want to eat all the time.
Yes. Love seasonal summer produce. It's a great time to be getting fruits and veggies.
Gorgeous.
All right. Tell me about what you've been eating.
I think Meg suggested me a good thing, which she pointed out, which was National Lobster Day. And I was just in New England. And my boyfriend went there for the very first time. It was the first time in Rhode Island. And I had learned previous to him going that he's like, I don't think I've ever had lobster before. And I'm like, you've never had lobster? Like, it was so weird to me being from that area. It's just our local seasonal foods.
Mhm.
And actually going back was quite interesting because I haven't been back in a few number of years and my parents live like way out in the sticks now. There's a lot of like agricultural land in Rhode Island. Of course, there's a lot of native land, as we saw in that Taste the Nation episode.
Mhm.
So I think even just a part of the growing up eating a lot of seafood is just more of eating what's around you. So I don't want to be like, oh, I ate lobster all the time. Like,
Right.
as a kid, it's not like a snobbish thing because it's just like, it's there, it's cheap.
I was gonna say it's cheaper when you're there because, like you said, it's everywhere. It's just there. Whereas if you don't live there, you have to pay to get this nice fresh lobster to you while it's still good, which that really amps the price up.
Yes, exactly. We brought him around to try various other things like little neck steamers, quahog stuffies, and other things like that. But then when we got to the lobster, we made it at my parents' place. Basically, you just get it from the grocery store, bring it home, boil them in a pot.
Did you choose the one that was going to meet its fate?
No, the grocer, he did it himself.
He
but
picked a good one for you.
They were all pretty wily. They were all fighters. I don't know if you've seen that scene in Annie Hall, but I was worried for a minute that there was gonna be just lobsters everywhere crawling around the kitchen. So my parents were also moving at the time, so we were at their new place. So they brought all the things to cook, but they forgot to bring like nutcrackers.
Pretty important.
Yes. So we were walking around to the nearest like dollar store and grocery store. None to be found, which is weird because I'm like, come on, New England. But also to them, it was May and they're like, it's not summer yet. It's not summer. Like it's officially summer starts Memorial Day weekend, you know?
Yes.
And that's when they really start everything. Like we went to the beaches and stuff. There was nobody there, but like it was there was fine, warm enough. but it wasn't summer yet, so we were too early.
Excuse you. Check your
Yes.
calendar.
So I taught Ruby how to eat the lobster, but like I said, we couldn't use the crackers, so we ended up using the sort of mallet method.
Yes.
It was messy. It was, fun.
Did you have your little lobster bibs?
We didn't have any lobster bibs.
Oh,
Although
no.
my mom threatened lobster bibs she did not supply.
You gotta have them if you're threatening them.
I know. So he ate it and he was just like, huh, all right. He was like, it doesn't really taste like much.
I'm going to put a pin in that because I feel like it segues into something I want to say about my next recipe. But yes, so did he have the requisite butter, a whole bunch of butter with it? Okay.
Yeah, a whole, little melted butter dish to
Mhm.
himself for a dippin', and that's it. But yeah, he was still like, I don't know what the big deal is.
I mean, fair. It is kind of a subtle flavor. I like lobster.
Yeah,
But it's not
I'm
for
like,
everyone.
yeah, I was like, there is a flavor. It is subtle, but it's not like it tastes like nothing.
Sure. I mean, it's a very distinct flavor, actually, I would say.
Yeah. So really that's the whole story. It was like this whole like big thing and like on the hut for the nutcrackers for him to be like, all right.
A lot of build up, not so much payoff.
Yeah, so celebrate National Lobster Day on June 15th in your own way.
With it, someone who truly appreciates the lobster.
Yeah, I would say so. Why don't you, was there a pin you wanted to?
Yes, okay, I'm going to take the pin out of that. One of my absolute favorite Japanese dishes is unagi.
Yes.
And I haven't had unagi for a long time, A, because it's kind of hard to find fresh unagi, and B, I've been a vegetarian for the last 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, well, do I really miss unagi, or do I just miss the unagi sauce that you serve it with? And this reminded me of your lobster story. It's like, well, do I like lobster, or do I just like a lot of butter? So I
Valid.
decided to try to create my own vegan version of unagi. And to cut to the chase, the answer is yes, I do like unagi itself. It's not just the sauce. So
Ooh.
I decided to sort of emulate unagi with eggplant.
Yes.
Because I thought that it would replicate the look and the texture, which it definitely did. So just to give a little bit more context in case you're not familiar, unagi is freshwater eel. Even though it's a aquatic creature, it doesn't taste like fish, I wouldn't say, although the flesh looks a little bit like fish meat, but it's not flaky in the way that fish meat is. It's very soft and actually kind of chewy. It's especially chewy if you eat the skin of the eel along with it, because often unagi is served on the skin. I would say actually it's probably always served that way. But it has this very fatty, oily, rich flavor to it. It's very unique. If you've never had it before, it's a little hard to describe.
Yeah, I think of unagi as like the teriyaki chicken of the sea.
That's a good way to describe it. And also because unagi is almost always served with this unagi sauce, much in the same way that it's like, what makes teriyaki chicken? Well, it's the sauce,
Mm-hmm.
And unagi sauce is also very sweet. It's just sweet. It's soy. I think it might have some sake in it, a lot of sugar. The pre-made stuff has corn syrup. I like the flavor. Very sweet. But anyway, I made these little eggplant fillets, I guess you would say. I sliced an eggplant lengthwise into about 4 pieces, and I steamed that for 10 minutes. And after it steamed, I scored lines in it with a knife, not cutting all the way through, just to sort of score it and open it up and flatten it out a bit. The ones that you'll see in the photos were pieces that had the skin still on to emulate the look of it. And after I scored it, I put it back on the stovetop in a pan and glazed it with the unagi sauce until it got that nice rich, brown, bronzy color. And then I served it over rice with some sesame seeds, which is a popular way to serve unagi. It tasted good. It was quite good, but it tasted like eggplant. It tasted like eggplant with unagi sauce. So that answered my question. I know now that it's the unagi itself I miss, not just the sugar syrup on top of it. But it was a good experiment, and I enjoyed it. And I thought it looked great. I was like, this looks like unagi. I was pretty proud.
What if you did the thing where you put like a thing of seaweed on the back of the skin?
Maybe. The thing is, so unagi is freshwater eel. So it doesn't really have that oceany flavor in the same way that I would say other fish do. But I could try that. It might add some of that missing flavor.
This looks so good, Meg. Like, you posted the picture and I was like, yes, one please.
It's really
like,
good.
I would order this.
Like I said, it's vegans and pretty easy to make overall.
No, I want you to make it.
I shall make it for you.
Yay! Meg's Diner.
Yes, it'll be right next door to Meg's Macarons.
It's beautiful. Like I recognized it instantly, you know. Even though it is eggplant, I was like, ooh, unagi.
I think I could fool someone before they took a bite. I could say, here's some unagi, and they might believe me.
Yeah. I will say, though, eggplant has a strong flavor, which I don't always like.
Mm-hmm. And it does not taste similar to eel. So it was a little bit of a failed experiment, but it was a good eggplant dish.
Yeah. I want to workshop this one.
Yeah.
But I love it.
This does fit in with a theme, kind of. It is seasonal produce. Eggplants are in season right now. I thought maybe it could count for the fresh veggie theme as well, but since I cooked it, I'm like, well, it's not fresh eggplant anymore, really. But yeah, it fits in with the seasonal produce.
I'll allow it.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, I celebrated International Picnic Day.
Woo!
So, I made a vegan macaroni salad from Minimalist Baker. So I already decided I was going to make this when like literally my IG feed like started blowing up with like macaroni salads and everybody screaming it was summertime. I think even Babbish just put out a macaroni salad or a pasta salad.
Great news for me because I've been thinking about macaroni salad for a long time now because I haven't had it for a while. I love macaroni salad. I will go on a hunt for recipes.
It's the season. It's calling. It's
Yes.
calling to us. So this is a described 30-minute vegan pasta salad loaded with colorful veg and tossed in a dairy-free, undetectably tofu-based dressing, perfect for summer shindigs, cookouts, and picnics. We're on target.
I've said this before. I always find it hilarious when someone's like, it's so good, you can't taste it anymore. It's like, you don't have to make tofu undetectable. I like tofu.
Sometimes tofu has zero flavor, as this does. So I used a chickpea macaroni to keep it gluten-free. There is also red pepper, celery, green onion. The dressing is made of silken tofu, dill, sweetener, vinegar, olive oil, spicy mustard, and garlic powder. Okay, so it was a decent macaroni salad. It didn't wow me. I think if you're going to make this recipe, you should use fresh dill and not the dried dill like the recipe says. Because it wasn't reading. And also I know I was spreading some silken tofu hate on this podcast previously, but it worked really well as like a dressing thickener and basically a mayo alternative. And then I also just used the rest of it this morning in my smoothie to make it nice and thick.
Nice.
So I enjoyed the process, but I would just tweak the flavors a little bit because it was just missing the sort of bam. So like what I've been doing is sort of spooning it out and then just like adding more vinegar on top, you know?
Mm-hmm. It looks good. It looks like it has all the elements that you want from a macaroni salad. It's got the nice crispy celery and the bell pepper in there. I will confess though, I think one reason why I like macaroni salad so much is because there's so much mayo. I love mayo. I think this looks like a good recipe. I would be tempted to make it, although I would probably make it non-vegan by using mayo instead of tofu just because I love mayo so much.
Yeah. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
It'll be delicious.
I really want to
Mayo
find
is delicious.
I really want to find a nice Hawaiian macaroni salad. I don't know what's different about it in Hawaii, but there's something that's so good. So if anyone listening has a good Hawaiian macaroni salad recipe, please share it with me.
Wait, is it just not pineapple added?
No. No.
I'm so confused.
Did you actually go on a picnic?
No, I literally just made this yesterday because like I got home on Wednesday, basically. So
Did you at least put down a gingham tablecloth and pretend you were on a picnic?
I could do that today if it makes you happy.
It would make me happy, yes.
Okay, I'll do that. I made this yesterday and laid right back down into bed. Because I am still like, what time is it? Where am I? Who am I? I've been in a different time zone for a week.
Yeah, understandable.
But I will picnic.
Thank
Don't
you.
you worry.
Okay.
All right. And now you have something else that looks beautiful of your own creation. I'm so excited.
I do. I'm keeping the veganizing Japanese classics ball rolling. I made vegan tonkatsu. So tonkatsu is usually a pork cutlet that's been breaded in panko and then pan fried. I made this vegan by substituting the pork for tofu. Speaking of tofu, I really amused myself and was very happy with the end result. I trimmed my tofu so that it looked like a pork cutlet shape. So I kind of like rounded the edges and I sort of tapered it a little bit to make it look more like a piece of pork. I thought it was pretty convincing. It was a little bit sneaky.
Yes.
So I've made a recipe like this before. I usually make it vegetarian. Typically what I do is dredge it in flour and then put it in egg and then put the panko on the outside of the egg for the breading. But to make this vegan, you just, instead of having the egg step, you just add some water to your flour mixture to make a batter, which is really simple. And actually, I might keep doing this because it gets rid of a step in the recipe, and eggs are so expensive these days. And I think the end result worked just as well. It was maybe a tiny bit less crispy just because, you know, the egg itself will crisp up when it's in the pan. But I thought it was a great substitution and, like I said, a lot easier. So I might just keep doing this. You just dip the tofu in the batter. You can add whatever you want to the flour batter, other spices. I like to make this curry tofu where I add curry to the flour mixture. But yeah, you just get this nice batter going. You coat it in breadcrumbs and then you cook it in a pan in oil until it's nice and crispy. And then serve it over rice. Tonkatsu is also sometimes served with a fried egg on top, which I think is a great way to enjoy tonkatsu, but I just got a little bit lazy the day I made this. And then there's a nice stripe of tonkatsu sauce across the cutlet. I would describe tonkatsu sauce as it's basically Worcestershire sauce. That's pretty much what it tastes like. So maybe a little bit more sweet. I love the taste of tonkatsu sauce. And if you like Worcestershire sauce, you would probably like this as well.
I thought for a minute that you use seitan.
Nope, it was just some very firm tofu.
Have you ever made your own seitan, Meg?
No, I haven't. I'm honestly not the biggest fan of seitan, but I've never had fresh made seitan either.
It's kind of a pain to make.
Yes,
I'll tell you that.
I would assume so.
Yeah, I think, oh my god, it looks, okay. First of all, like, you could buy, like, the Gardein version of this, and it would be filled with, like, who knows what in it.
Exactly.
But, like, oh my god, I can't believe that, like, literally this is just tofu with breading, and it looks fantabulous.
Thank you.
And so simple, and I would just, like, cover that thing in sauce, though.
Oh, I did have, what you don't see pictured is my little cup of dipping sauce. So yes, it is good with more sauce than is pictured.
Just be like, I keep it coming.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I agree.
Oh my god, more stuff for your restaurant.
Yes.
I'm convinced. That's what people do to me. Whenever I bring in food, they're like, so when are you when are you opening a restaurant or food truck? And I'm like, no, that shit's hard.
I will say I've considered a food truck, and then I'm like, no, this is the worst idea.
It's terrible.
But I don't know. I might get talked into it.
Feel like you just, every time you come back now, you're like, and this is one of my own creation. And I'm like,
true.
Meg.
I know. 2 of my 3 recipes this time are my own little things.
I love it.
But we do have one more recipe on our menu.
Yes. Where would I be without a failure?
I have a failure that's waiting in the wings. But
Yay!
it'll be aligning with a theme coming up soon. So that's a teaser for later.
Nice.
It was a failure. It was awful.
I'm so excited. I'm sorry and excited.
Yes.
So for my next dish, I wanted to celebrate rhubarb season because it's rhubarb season, everybody.
Uh-huh.
Except when I went to 3 grocery stores yesterday, no rhubarb to be found.
Oh, no.
But I will say, I'm updating into my script here. As of 50 minutes ago, we have acquired rhubarb. It's in the house. So
beep, 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 beep.
yeah, a 4th grocery store did have it.
Breaking news. Rhubarb in the house.
So for these strawberry rhubarb baked oatmeal muffins, I just used strawberries. And also, I didn't even use fresh strawberries. I used frozen strawberries.
Oh, no, Justine.
Well, because I was hoping I would, like, stumble into some frozen rhubarb, because I had seen frozen rhubarb at the Sprouts previously, which gave me the idea to be like, oh, I can totally make something with rhubarb, because I've never had rhubarb before.
You've never had rhubarb?
I don't think so, unless I had it unbeknownst to me. But I've never at least cooked with it.
Me either.
You know? So, I know I'm already like, oh, Justine, what the heck did you do? So, I mean, okay, the muffins are good, regardless, and they are simple to make. So they're made with rolled oats, baking powder, sea salt, cinnamon, maple syrup, eggs, almond milk, vanilla extract, and 2 cups diced whatever fruit you happen to have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything goes in a bowl. I'm noting again, no flour, it's just rolled oats. So you just scoop it all into a muffin pan with your ice cream scoop, bake for about 40 minutes, and it's basically like oatmeal to go, you know? I wanted to put in nuts, but I forgot. But I do see myself making them again, and I do have rhubarb now.
Yeah.
So I would say they make like a really good snack. I don't say they're like a complete like oatmeal breakfast substitute, because you would need to eat like 2 to 3 of them. But I think they're like easy granola bars, like a snack on the go. It's definitely something like at 4:30 when I'm feeling snackish, I can just go in the fridge and just like take one, and it's pretty satisfying because it's just like, oh, here's your instant oatmeal, basically.
Yeah, that sounds good. What's the texture like? Is it pretty firm, like a muffin? Is it crumbly?
It's not crumbly, except for the very top. You can see that they kind of still like look like raw-ish oats, but the bottom that you don't see is like just cooked mush that is, what am I describing? It's not crumbly. It's soft, and you can pull it apart like a muffin.
Okay.
But it's not bread-like. Got it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it looks good.
That was a terrible description on my part. I'm like, it's mush that's been cooked? I don't...
You know, that would describe a lot of food.
Yeah. Yeah, so easy peasy. I just felt like, oh my god. Like, literally, after we were in the Whole Foods, which was the 3rd place, and I'm like, I'm just gonna... F it, I'm still making these. I gotta make them today. Like, I'll get rhubarb at some other point. And then, you know, Ravi just went to the store earlier for, I don't even know, because we gotta get groceries to cook again. And he's like, oh, they have rhubarb at Vaughn's. And I'm like, shut up.
Well, you could make these again, or June 9th is National Strawberry Rhubarb Pie Day.
I know it is. I don't want to make a pie, though.
I've been tempted to try to cook something with rhubarb, because I've also never cooked rhubarb before. And I had the opposite problem as you. I went to the grocery store, wasn't even looking for rhubarb, and there was these beautiful, huge stalks of rhubarb, and I thought, that looks so good. And the worker there saw me staring at the rhubarb, and he was like, that came to us straight from Alaska. And I was like, wow.
Oh my God. Well, it didn't come to us, apparently.
But I was thinking, I saw this recipe for strawberry rhubarb jam.
Yeah.
Might be good to make.
Ooh, yeah. I was just so like, I kept on being like, it's rhubarb season. And I'm like, where is it?
Well, I'm glad you found some.
Thank you. It's in the house.
And the muffins look really good.
Thank you. Yeah, they, like I said, strawberry muffins that taste like oatmeal. Pretty good. Win in my book.
Nice.
Alrighty, let's talk about July.
July themes.
Before we get into talking about what we've been consuming with our eyeballs, we talk about July tent poles. So here's a few that I cooked up. So July 4th is Independence Day here in the US. So I always see a lot of red, white, and blue food things.
You know, I make my red, white, and blue pie every year, or I used to, but it's got gelatin. I'm going to see if I can figure out a way to vegetarianize this.
Get some agar.
Yeah, but it's usually you just dump in a pack of Jell-O, and I'm just like, what am I supposed to do instead? I'll figure something out. I'll look into it.
I am looking forward to it. July 7th is Chocolate Day. Mm-hmm. July 14th is National Macaroni and Cheese Day.
Amanda should come back just for that one.
Yes. And I put celebrating all things birthday this month because our podcast birthday is July 15th.
Happy birthday to us.
Happy birthday to us. Bring some birthday cake. We will eat it or whatever. Birthday. I'm just gonna, like, it's an excuse to buy the funfetti, Meg.
Totally. Oh my gosh. I always want an excuse to eat funfetti.
Meg's like, I don't need an excuse.
I have a box in my cabinet as we speak. Also, funfetti pancake mix, which I've never had before, but was gifted to me, so I have to try it.
Yes. Oh my God. Here's your excuse. Here it is. Bring it home, Meg. Bring it home. All right, lastly, July 28th is National Hamburger Day. So, July, you know, I figured these were a lot of, like, good July-y things. Mm-hmm. I don't know what I'm going to make yet. I mean, we're just in June still.
Technically, we're still in May as we record this. Peek behind the scenes.
Yeah. So we got some time.
We do. We sure do.
I love planning ahead. It's so good, especially with being with my parents for a week who do not do planning at all. I'm like, let me plan.
Are you a Capricorn too, Justine?
Aquarius.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say planning ahead. That's my love language, right? I feel like that's a Capricorn thing.
Well, I feel like I have a lot of Capricorn tendencies, though. I'm right on the cusp.
You are. That's why I asked, because I thought you might be.
I'm a little bit of both. That's how I feel. All right, so now let's jump in to talk about what we've been consuming with our eyeballs. I already said the joke once. It's not as funny the second time. I'm sorry.
Always funny.
Here is the media we've been enjoying. So, oh my God. I've been playing this mobile game. Cat Snack Bar. It's been so... I don't want to be like it's relaxing, but it doesn't stress you out.
Yes, I can see that.
So you are a cat and you have other cat coworkers and you just serve people snacks in various snacking situations. Like right now, my level is a drive-in movie theater. I'm serving popcorn and nachos and hot dogs.
That's so cute.
It's fun, and I just am addicted to it right now.
I love the idea of having all my coworkers be cats. That would be amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, you work from home, though your coworkers are cats.
That's, good point. Justine's mobile game here has inspired my own. As soon as I saw this in our shared notes, I was like, oh my God, I feel like I've played Cat Snack Bar only because I've seen about 1 million ads for it in my cat food mobile game.
How are we not? We're the same person. It's official.
It's official. We also both independently decided to wear dinosaur-themed shirts today, so
We did.
we like share a brain cell.
Yes. Tell everybody about your cat mobile game.
I will. To continue the Cat Chef universe, I have been enjoying playing a game called Cats and Soup. It is a Korean mobile game. It's also very low stress. It's what's called an idle game. So basically, you accumulate resources to use in game while you're not even playing the game. So it's like, oh, I haven't checked in for the last 5 hours and I've earned so many points and now I can spend these points on things.
Yes.
It's a very cute game. It's called Cats and Soup because you collect these little cute animated kitty cats, and they each have their own little cooking station. So there's one at the soup station, there's one at like the juice bar, there's one at the wok, and then all the rest of the other kitties harvest ingredients like pumpkins, corn, strawberries, all sorts of different ingredients that then they make into these dishes, and you collect the dishes to collect points, etc., etc. And they keep you coming back because they are always adding new types of cats. They have seasonal events, like their summer event just started. So you can get little swimsuits, little sun hats for your cats to wear.
Dressing up the cats is very important.
Yes, dressing up the cats, decorating their little rooms that they have. It's a really cute game. I will say, though, is the thing that I hate about it, which is awful, is that there's so many ads. You really can't do much in the game without watching ads. You could never watch an ad if you didn't want to, but it really limits the number of things you can do in the game. So that's how they get you. They're like, hey, you can pay $5 to see fewer ads and etc. But it's really cute overall. I like it. It's addictive.
Yeah. I just really want a cat.
Aw.
So the other thing on the media I've been consuming lately is the book Legends and Lattes. I'm only halfway through it. And I know, Meg, you've read it.
I have read it, yes. I won't spoil anything.
So I've been wanting to read it because it's been coming up. Everybody's reading it. And I'm like, I should read it. It's about an orc, falls in love with coffee, opens up a coffee shop. Nobody's ever heard of coffee. There's other fantastical creatures in there. There's a succubus.
There's a little rat that cooks pastries.
Yes, I love that rat. Yeah, so it's like she decides to just, stop doing all of her orky sword fighting, typical Dungeons and Dragons, and just like settle down, make a coffee shop. But what if her past comes to haunt her? Who knows what's gonna happen?
It's such a cute concept. I read this a while ago. It was one of those books that was trending on Twitter, or at least my Twitter circles. And I was instantly grabbed because the cover art is so beautiful. It's really cute. It's got the orc character and the succubus character in this cozy little coffee shop. It says Legends and Lattes in sort of the Dungeons and Dragons font. And the tagline is a novel of high fantasy with low stakes. I loved the cover. I loved the tagline. I was like, I'm sold. I am definitely going to buy this book. I really enjoyed it. And also, it's a great success story because when the book first came out, it was either self-published or vanity publisher. I'm not quite sure. But the author, Travis Baldree, amazing marketing skills, somehow, really got word of mouth around on Twitter. And it became so popular that it got picked up by Tor, which is a huge publisher. So yeah, Tor publishes probably every fantasy novel you've ever read. Yeah. It's this huge success story. Congratulations to him. It's done so well that he's in the process of writing the sequel. It's very cute. It's very cozy. It's billed as a romance, but I would say it doesn't quite deliver on the romance, not as much as I was hoping for, at least. It really does deliver on the low stakes promise, which is nice. If you just want a cozy, cute book to read, I would highly recommend it for that. And yeah, it is very food themed. It actually does fit in really well with our podcast because there's a lot of time spent on the baking. Like I mentioned, there's this cute little rat character named Thimble, and he brings this little list of ingredients to the orc, and he's like, get these for me. And she's like, I don't know what you're planning to do, but okay. And he makes these amazing croissants and all these tasty sounding pastries. It's very fun.
When I got like through that part, I was just like, oh, I gotta talk about this on the podcast. Look, I'm reading another food thing. It reminds me in the vein of, there's this graphic novel Mooncakes, which is queer, witchy, you know. It feels like the same-ish universe, you know.
Totally. And this comparison might not sound quite as one-to-one as what you just said, but I would say if you like The Martian by Andy Weir, I feel like you would like this. And just stick with me for a second. But the prose is like very like methodical, technical, utilitarian prose. But instead of it being about growing potatoes, it's about assembling an espresso machine. So if you like that aspect of The Martian minus, you know, the high stakes of trying to get off of Mars and not die, I actually think there's a lot of parallels in the way that these stories are constructed.
Nice. Awesome. Well, yeah, everybody check out those things. Only, man, we came hard with the cozy.
Yes.
This time.
Yes.
That is just our vibe. We're cozy, but we're also picnicking, like.
Cozy picnic time.
Cozy picnic, welcome to summer.
And then it's going to be hot girl summer next. And then it'll be cozy again when fall comes around.
Yes, it's just the circle of life right here. All right, that does it for our podcast. If you would like to see pictures and links to all the recipes we've talked about, please head on over to our Substack. Subscribe by going to podappetit.substack.com. If you don't know what Substack is, get into it. It's like better Twitter.
Yeah, you get all the photos of our food in one place, all the recipes. It's just a nice place to compile everything that we've talked about on the episode. It's a good companion to what you're listening to right now.
Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel at pod_appetit. YouTube is bumping podcasts. Help us also do that.
Please help us.
Wherever you want to consume us, we are there, basically.
It's true.
So let us know, leave us comments, give us a shout out, email us if that's your thing also. We would love to hear from you. Send us over what you're cooking for your hot girl summer or hot boy summer or hot person summer.
Yes.
Well, yes, a pleasure as always, Meg.
Indubitably.
Next time, we don't know what we're coming back to. It could be that interview. It could be more June, but find out then.
It's a surprise to everyone.
Surprise!
Okay, bye.
Bye!
Thanks for listening to Pod Appétit Gourmet Takes.
Go to podappetitpodcast.com for all our episodes and links to everywhere you can find us online.
Also, be sure to subscribe to Pod Appétit Gourmet Takes on your favorite podcatcher.